text you.
If you've been looking for a new television and you're a TCL fan, there's a lot of choices on the market. So today we're going to compare these two right here. This is the TCL QM7K, and over here this is the TCL QM8K. Now both TVs do perform very well, and as a standalone television, I think you'll be happy with either one. But what happens when we put them side by side? Let's get into it. Both of these TVs have AI technology to clear up the contrast, the picture, and the clarity. Both TVs have a powerful light emitting chip. And both of these TVs are part of the Precision Dimming series. And here's the remote controls that comes with the televisions. This is for the QM8K, which has more of that silver finish to it. And this is the remote control that comes with the QM7K and is black. Both of these TVs are going to have a great picture on it, but you're going to notice that the QM8K has a lot more details to it. And it's because this TV has up to 5,000 of peak brightness compared to 2,600. And you're going to notice more contrast overall, and it's because the QM8K supports up to 3,800 local dimming zones, where the QM7K supports up to 2,500. But the question is, should you save some money and get the QM7K that has the HVA panel, or should you budget more for the QM8K that has the WHVA panel? Besides the picture quality of these televisions, another thing to consider is size, because you can get a QM7K from a 55-inch all the way up to 115-inch. And far as the QM8K, you can get this TV from a 65-inch up to a 98-inch, so there's not all the sizes that are available for this television. And both of these TVs are going to look great on movies because you're going to get those inky contrast ratios, you're going to get a bright picture on both televisions. But here's the difference. When it comes to the QM8K, you get better spectral highlights. So this TV is really going to shine when it comes to those details that you're going to be missing out on the QM7K. Now the QM7K is not a slouch because it is a great looking television. However, we're trying to justify the difference in the price between these two units because at the end of the day is your money and you have to make that decision for yourself. And the demos that I'm going to show you on this video may sway you one way or the other to see if you want to spend more money and get the QM8. With the TVs in SDR mode, I want to show you the dynamic range of both televisions and movie mode. And what you're going to notice is a huge brightness difference between the two televisions. And switching over to filmmakers mode, if you look at the bottom of the trees, that you can see a lot more details and light coming in through the bottom, where you don't see that on the QM7K as much. But this is interesting. When I switched over to HDR mode, it seems like the QM7K had a lot more saturation in the colors than the QM8K, but you definitely could tell the difference between the two TVs in these different modes. And this theme remained the same when I switched over to Dolby Vision mode. The QM8K just looks more natural to me overall out of the two televisions. Before we take a look at sports, I just wanted to explain something to you guys real quick. These TVs are powered by the Google operating system, which works very well. But whenever you're doing demos like I do, you can't override the operating system that's built into the televisions to put it in different picture profiles. Whatever signal the TV sees is what it's going to play. So I use Apple TV, and this allows me to basically put the TVs in different modes. So if I'm watching Disney Plus, I can go over here and override the system and force it into HDR or force it into Dolby Vision. So if you wonder how I do it, 4K Apple TV. Now let's talk about sports. In sports modes, I think you're going to get a great picture on either of these TVs, but you're going to notice that the QM8K is a lot more flatter. And as I mentioned earlier, the QM7K is going to be a little bit more saturated. And both of these TVs have a motion rate of 480, so it's going to be able to smooth out just about any image that you put on the television. And I think you're going to be happy watching either one. But one of my favorite things about these televisions is both of them are great for gaming. Now TCL has a motion accelerator that can support up to 288 Hertz. And what that's going to do is give you a much smoother gameplay and get rid of all that tearing and smearing that you might see on some other televisions. And loading up the Xbox, both of these TVs will support 4K at 120 Hertz. They will also support 1440p, 1080p at 120 Hertz. And rest assured, both of these TVs will support Dolby Vision gaming up to 120 Hertz as well. And you'll love the fact that it will support all the video formats inside of the Xbox and PlayStation. Another thing these TVs have is a Game Master with this gaming bar. In this menu, you're going to be able to see all your frames at the top of it. Plus you'll have aiming settings, magnification, access to the auto low latency, variable refresh rate. And both of these TVs do have a floating game rate. So if you want to play your favorite game and know what frequency is at, these TVs support that as well.
Into 6 right long over crest, 50. 6 left long, opens over crest, 50. Flat middle over long crest.
Heads up!
Sounded sick jump.
Bel-Air, honey, let's make you fly.
So gaming is fun on these televisions, but one thing I do notice is that I kind of like the colors better on the QM7K because it just made the sand look a lot more darker, but the QM8K was much brighter. Now it's TV testing time. So I'm just going to do a few basic TV tests because at this point I'm pretty sure you already know which TV is the best. But keep in mind that if you was interested how bright these TVs are in all the testing, go watch the main videos because I covered all that kind of stuff. With that being said, let's talk about upscaling. When I was looking back on this footage, I just realized that these TVs upscale identically because they pretty much have the same processor and all that good stuff in it. But the thing is that you can notice is the difference in the colors between the two televisions. In my opinion, the QM8K just looks more natural and more realistic than the Q7K, even though both of these TVs have great pictures. You might like that warmer look on it, but looking at this skin tone test, I still like the fact that the QM8K is more of a pure color, where the QM7K has more of that warm look. But both these TVs look really great and the colors pop, but there is a big difference in the colors of these two televisions. Taking a look at the dirty screen effect on these two televisions, one thing I noticed on the QM7 that I have, on the left hand side, it just seems to have a little bit of dimming in the backlights on one side of it. Not saying this is defective, but that's what it appears to be like for me. In my opinion, these TVs are pretty neutral, but as we get into the grayscale, you can see a little bit of blotchy areas in the center of the screen, but I don't think this is something that you're going to notice watching everyday content. Keep in mind, this is a test. And if you didn't know this, some of the original mini LED TVs were known to have a lot of blooming on them, where you see these glowing edges around logos. But I would say both of these TVs are doing a great job controlling the blooming, and that's due to TCL has a technology called Halo Control that really helps out, and you can see it in these demos. Here's a motion test. At the top is a 24 frames per second test, and at the bottom is a 60 frames per second test, and both TVs will perform the same. But keep in mind, the 24 frames is slowed down to give you that more cinematic look, but both TVs are smooth like butter and you won't have any problems whatsoever getting a great picture on either television. The last thing we're going to do on this video is listen to the audio. Now keep in mind, both of these TVs do have the B&O audio system with the Biosonic equalizing, so they're going to sound pretty good. Now, is it going to be better than a soundbar? In my opinion, I think soundbars sound better because you have an external subwoofer that produces a lot more bass, but here's what they sound like. Put headphones in if you want to get the best experience.
My pros, I don't play by the rules, I just switch up the flow. Hey, chill on the weekend, give X's and no. She in love with the kid, I ain't texting her phone.
I think I found my favorite distraction.
Comes to my pros, I don't play by the rules, I just switch up the flow. Hey, chill on the weekend, give X's and no. She in love with the kid, I ain't texting her phone.
The last thing I want to mention is viewing angles on these TVs are very similar, but since this has the WHVA panel, it's just going to be slightly better. And when it comes to anti-glare, they're almost the same. So you're going to get really good anti-reflection off both of these TVs. But what do I think about these TVs? In my opinion, the QM8K is definitely improvement over the last year series, and it is a step up from the QM7K. Can you justify the difference between the two? That'll be completely up to you. But I did like the colors better. It just looks more natural. And I like the fact this TV has this new zero border design, so it looks a lot more premium overall, and especially if it's sitting in your house. I do like the fact that the QM7K is available in a smaller size, which is 55 inch, and you can get a larger one at 115 inches. So you have a little bit more diversity between the two TVs. But overall, these demos will help you to make the best decision, and I hope it helped you out. That's all I have on this one. I'm Tech Steve. Thanks all for watching. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and give me a likes on this video if you found it useful, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.